And Tammy Hollingsworth just visited the studio. I can't remember which state she came from, but from the United States. So thank you very much, Tammy. It was nice to meet you, and I hope you had fun visiting Nova Scotia. Good morning, it's Vaughan at westcoatbellpottery.ca in Nova Scotia, Canada. This is a cone 6, maybe even 7 and 5.5 oxidation gas kiln unloading. I'm still having problems balancing the kiln because I changed the baffle brick, which blocks the gas and makes the gas go up and then curve over and go down again. So it's a bit more difficult than electric firing. So it's basically took a long time to balance out, and I think the top got too hot, and I think the bottom stayed at cone 5.5, and I didn't want to go any higher longer because I thought maybe the top would get really hot, but we'll see. Okay, there's one pinhole, but it's not sharp, just there, but everything else looks pretty good. That's where I thought it might get really hot. Let's look at the cones. It was cone 7 on the top, and that means you could have glazes running, you could have blisters and bubbles and stuff, so we might have some refires at the very least. What about the bottom? We've got cone 5.5, and cone 7 was beginning to go, but cone 6 hadn't gone completely off over, so I think it's about cone 5.5, just over maybe. So it's not bad, but it's, there's risking going too high with some glazes. Let's hope that isn't the case. So all right, so I got a lot of fish in here. Are these hot? That one's a bit too hot, and I got a lot of trays that we did in that video. So let's start a bit lower down. Oh, that's interesting. These are those trays that I showed in the I was showing how I make these basically, and some coffee mugs. I think the coffee mugs are in here too, but they're very quick trays to make, but they're a little longer as far as glazing when you do what I was showing in the video about glazing these, because I was using those mini sort of slip trailers with glaze. But that's kind of pretty. I used a lot of blue, green, copper, red on that one, and this has got blue, green, copper, red as well. There's a bunch of other things. I don't even remember what glazes I was doing in there, but I think this one would be considered a decorative only tray, or maybe for cheese or something, because I use that bronze glazing here, which wouldn't be for liquids. So maybe I'll write on the back of this one, not for liquid use, which it's a tray. You just put bread on it anyway. But kind of in the category of raccoon. That one has Tenrico gold and bright blue on the edges, so a little different. And I was slip trailing with those fine slip trailers, all those little things in the center there. I should show you this, because there's a lot of little careful slip trailing in there. It's a little hot on the top. It's reading 80 degrees centigrade, so that's about 160, I think. Maybe 160, 170, so it's a little hot, but I can touch them, so. But that's a nice little fish. I'm almost out of fish on the front of my building, so I'm glad I got this kiln unloading. Yeah, this doesn't feel, I bet this is 130, 140, so on the top it might be a little hotter. Oh, this one's very pretty. I did my little texture thing with the little fish. That's the bronze glaze plus the apple green, bright blue, purple. This is the mug from that quick stamp the roller stamp, just using the chun green over it. So this was a very quick mug to make for a hand-built mug with all that decoration on it. So that one worked out pretty good. Chun green is a great glaze for texture. This one is one of Jackie's, and she'd have to tell you about how she does this one, but basically it's underglaze is rubbed onto the clay, and then with a clear glaze over the top. My regular blue, but it's a little undefined on the bottom, I think. It's not quite as blue as I would have hoped it. Another one of Jackie's. Another owl glass from Jackie. They're very textural. And that's got matte turquoise, bright blue, and bronze glaze on it with a little bit of blue-green copper red on the front. I always post the glaze recipes every so often in the videos. You usually have to look at the front of the video or the back of the video, the front or the end. Too, because I let the texture not get any glaze in. So it's just, you know, you've got bare clay in the crevices, which is nice. Rare yellow one. Apple green, yellow, purple. These are getting a bit cooler now. Purple and yellow. It's, yeah, just purple, yellow, and Tenmuku gold by the look of it. Or a little green on the face, blue on the face, possibly. They're still a little warm, but my wife wouldn't pick these up there. My hands have gotten used to. But there's another one of those trays. Be interesting to see if they... I feel like these are worth probably 39 to 45. I'm going to try that around that price range, unless they're really big or small. This is just a tile. I cut the rim off because it was too short a rim, so I just made it into a tile. And it's a little bent, but it still works as a little tile. But you can see that fine slip trailing where the glaze is. A fish, nice texture. And Tenmuku gold, apple green, maybe a bit of matte turquoise and blue in that too. Bronze on here, matte turquoise, a little bit of yellow over apple green, and I think blue on the face. The blue definitely seems more subdued in here. I'm a bit worried about firing them next because I have to do a lot of blue pieces for a dinner set. This is my favorite so far. Tenmuku gold and blue, apple green, and Tenmuku gold on the fins of the fish too. There's not many of the flecks in there, but you've got a few. But nothing's blistering or bubbling. Purple, bright blue, bronze, and Tenmuku gold, I think. Yeah, the bronze is really nice on that one. I actually did lines in these as well, so there's a lot of little details when I'm glazing to make the lines and the fins sort of stand out. Just using those slip trailers. That's interesting. It's a rose pattern from a commercial roller I bought with the bronze glaze and purple with a blue face. It works pretty nice. Ooh, a yellow face. And we've got bronze, apple green, matte turquoise, and the yellow face, and bright blue on the top part of the body. Okay, these are regular mugs, so we won't go into too much of this bright blue, but it looks like they're good. There was that one little bubble there, but it's not sharp, and I think we were right on the edge of being, making these blister. Overfired, that means. Another thing with this kiln is it cools so slowly that things can heal over. Mr. Squirrel is back. Another matte turquoise with variegated blue and oatmeal over the top. Bright blue, variegated blue and oatmeal. Just really sweet little soup bowls. People have been asking me, because I have sets upstairs, place settings, and with bowls and coffee cups for cafe au lait, and people want to buy them and separate the sets, and I refuse to do that. So I've made some so people can take these instead of separating a set. It's not nice when a set really looks perfect together, and then if you separate one piece, you haven't got a set. And that's the chun green, variegated blue, and oatmeal, and the chattering is really nice over the chun green. The chun green over the chattering is really nice. Matte turquoise shows chattering too. Tray as well. Worth spending the time glazing these. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, very quick to make, and then a lot of time glazing. And there's that purple, which works really nice in the gas kiln. You get some variation with it, with some fluting, and you can see the fluting line has those textures in it, vertical lines too. It's another one of the blue mugs. And then we should compare this at cone 7 to this at cone 5.5. So that clear glaze works anything from 5.5 up to 7. I think possibly this one has a bit more sheen to it, but there's not much difference. Yep, no, that looks good. So Jackie will be happy with these. She's out on a bike ride. This one's very nice. This is more monocolor. Nighttime with the owls. Very pretty. Okay. Another one of that detailed glazing with the slip trailers. That's pretty too. I somehow like the ones where you have this kind of offset look. Yeah, all the glazes I've been using on the mugs are in here by the look of it. And then technical gold, oatmeal, purples, greens, everything. Here's another one where I didn't glaze into the crevices, and that shows the texture up so much more. But you know, purple, technical gold, matte turquoise, blue, everything. This is the biggest one in here, and got all the colors I've mentioned. So this is a big one. This is going to be one of the $135 ones, I guess. And there's another pretty big one. This will probably be 110, 120. Yeah, that's got a nice pattern showing through because I didn't glaze heavy. Just on the top part, that's really pretty. And that was a roller stamp I bought. I can't remember. Probably off Amazon. Another long fish. These ones are very quick to make. And that's got apple green by the look of it, and bright blue and bronze. I use the bronze a lot for the fins. There's some more of these trays. I did the blue, green, copper, red on the edges, a lot of them, because it's very watery looking. And I wish I'd used some other glazes too now. But these are okay for the first batch of them, basically. It's a tray that you can look at from both sides. So it sits on a table, and the one fish is upside down to you, but the other side of the table, it's the other way. And new normal glazes I've mentioned already. And this one, the texture shows up very good, even though I did fill the glaze in all the way down into the crevices. Oh, he's upside down. It's bright blue in the middle with matte turquoise on the edges and apple green. Lots of nice greens on that one. Texture shows up perfectly with the apple green there. Oh, it's got some big fins. Normal glazes I've mentioned. It's like 4 different base colors there. He's happy. Fish under there. I did a really big batch of fish. There's the squirrel again. Now we have a shelf with lots of little trays. So these worked out really nice. And I think now I'm happy with that bright blue edge. I like it when you've got the blue and the green there. Two more. There's a whole bunch of these that's upside down. And this is the last one of the trays, I think. Okay, a few more fish to go. and one of the nice ones. A really nice one. There's some lines in there with that slit trail with a fine nozzle by the look of it. Oop, can't see that. Oh, it's upside down as well. There you go. Fish yellow with apple green, and a baby one to go with him. So this was a good batch of fish. There's a couple of small ones on it. Now, this level I can tell is really pretty underfired, because that bright blue is definitely not blue at all. And the green is a bit more matte. But it was cone 5.5. The purple does seem to like a little lower in temperature, so that won't work. But the variegated blue is really dull, and so these are the plant protectors that I just put around my plants anyway. So these are not important except to me. A couple more. The blue is really pretty good in this one. More mugs that are nice. The purple looks good at that level, and the green. This was an order, so it naturally wouldn't work very well. Then I have a couple of birdhouses. Actually, I have 6 of these, I think, in here. I did these just quick to make something big to actually fill at the bottom of the kiln, because it's better to have tall things at the bottom of the kiln, because it is harder to heat up at the bottom. So I space things out further apart, and not as much mass at the bottom. But still, this was hard to heat the bottom in this firing. Nice with the purple, breaking nicely over the fluting. And then we're back to some experiments. These were those balls that I was just playing with, slip trailing and stuff. And this one I just put the chun glaze over the top just to see what it would do. And it's a crazy ball. Well, we experiment because we like to keep things. While you're doing one thing, if it's never done it before, you might discover something else. So it's worth playing every so often. We got some bubbling. So that's overfired just a little bit. It's not rough, it's smooth, but there are little blisters. And this blue is not good enough. I'm going to fire the electric kiln with that dinner set. See, it's a bit dull as a blue. Here are the little glaze cups that were experimental. The little tiny ones. I did a whole video on doing these. And these look very nice. This is the chun green on very thin. And that really looks nice. And then you've got the bright blue on the inside. And here the bright blue worked pretty nice. On the white clay it seems to have worked really good. So now maybe I should do the dinner set in this kiln, because that is on the white clay and it is beautiful. Here's a little cafe au lait bowl. Tell it's overfired because it's running, but the green is really good. That's surprising. These are orders. Somebody wanted a bunch of little tiny shot glasses. Cafe au lait bowls. Really nice. This is an experiment for somebody, which I'm not going to continue with. They wanted mugs that can stack inside each other. Let's see if it would work here. No, it doesn't. But she wanted mugs that were wide enough here so you could stack the other one underneath. And that's just too much work to get what I think that, I need to be so precise. I think if they were going to do something like this, you might be better off doing a mold and slip casting it so you can make everyone identical. Which is what I think the person probably had originally that broke. And now they're looking for a handmade one to replace it, which I think is just too much work. Could probably do it if you put lots of time into it, but some jobs you just have to say no. Landscape pieces. It's the speckled clay that's making the blue look dull. More little shot glasses. Some more of these, which are on the white clay, and I'm going to do the dinner set in the gas kiln because these look fine. It's just the brown clay that was making the blue really dull. Experimental Cove series bowl, which is absolutely beautiful. Nice bowl. Some more Cove series mugs, landscape series. A couple more of the winter ones. Icelandic, I call these ones. A couple more bird feeders here. Sorry, bird houses. I made feeders before. I just like to decorate the outside of the studio, curb appeal. A couple more of the yellow landscape mugs. I was short of mugs, so I'm glad I got all these out. Purple, chun green, nothing else but chun green. Quite pretty, and that's with that technique I showed you on the wheel. I don't often do single glaze pieces, but it's kind of nice to see something quiet and simple. Just an oatmeal on the bottom. One of the little shot glasses with chattering. Purple and matte turquoise, another purple. So the blue did work fine on the white clay, so I will go ahead and glaze the dinner set in this kiln. It's very pretty. Two more of the actual blue bowls. And two more of the cafe au lait bowls, which chun green and variegated blue and oatmeal. Two in the bright blue, really pretty. And you go there, bright blue as well. Another simple chun glaze. Another one of the cafe au lait bowls with bright blue and matte turquoise. There's a lot of people around, so I keep getting stopped, but there's the purple variegated blue and oatmeal. This is the speckle clay as well, and the blue is much more subdued, except where the oatmeal goes over it, and the variegated blue is a bit brighter. But I'm glad I did the dinner set in the white clay. There's many of these in this firing already. And another cup. And another one of the little cups from that small cup video. And another one of the cafe au lait bowls. Yeah, possibly the most successful of the experimental bowls. Glazed with blue-green copper red, and then underneath is a whole bunch of slip decorated in blues, white, and black. And I think that probably is worth investigating and producing more if I want to develop a abstract line of painting on pottery, because that works really nice. Cups. So I'm going to have lots for these people who've been asking for the separation of the place settings. There was a mosquito on this one. These are all in mouse gray and apple green. Chattering. What's there? And two more. Purple. That's nice. Variegated blue. The chun green lets you see those lines in the tool that I use for fluting. Another Cove series experiment with new colors. The purple instead of the blue in the middle, variegated blue, mouse gray, and oatmeal. And this is one without the sort of slip trail lines that I usually do on these bowls. So it's sort of an experiment, but just a slight modification on what I usually do. It's nice. And two of the little mugs from that video. These were supposed to be glasses, remember? Yeah. Very disappointing, because it's over the gray clay, is the bright blue, which I think would have been much, much better over. I'm going to dip this in another glaze and refire it. It just looks gray, but the texture shows up really well, but too gray. Two more small mugs here. The last part of the kiln is some more Landscape Cove mugs. A couple more of the glasses with the apple green, but these ones have blue on the top. Two more birdhouses. A couple more birdhouses. And for the... Oh, is this one got a crack in it? Oh, that one had a crack opening up in it. It won't affect it, but I'll sell it as a second. And there's the other one. The bird looking for a fancy home. Oh, and one more of these mugs. That is the end of the firing. So that was not a bad firing. I have to experiment with this kiln even more because it's staying too cool at the bottom, even though I packed it lighter at the bottom. I'm going to let the gas through a little bit more at the bottom of the kiln and see whether but I did that before too much and it got too hot at the bottom of the kiln. So we're talking maybe a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch more of gap that I can actually allow some gas to, instead of blowing it with the baffle brick up to the top of the kiln and back down, I'm going to let some through into the bottom right up front and see whether that does it, because I'm firing again tonight and tomorrow. This is going to be inserted somewhere in one of my videos. It's just an electric kiln firing I'm doing in August, which is rare because it's too hot to fire in the studio this time of the year. So basically, I'm just going to show you what's in here because there's a few interesting pieces. It is cone 6 minus 6 degrees because I do 2225 instead of 2232 with an 11-minute soak. I've shown that profile, but look at that. It's a big platter, and it's a variation on my landscape that I do with the Cove series, which if you've watched all the videos, you'll know the Cove series. But this looks really nice with the black sky. So I'm very happy with this. And yeah, back of it, no cracks anywhere, it looks great. Very nice, sort of beautifully mystical a little bit. Hot. Barely lift it up, it's a bit warm. Same idea. I actually use my regular colors I do in the landscape Cove series pieces. So variegated blue, matte turquoise, and black. And actually that isn't usual colors. So the variegated blue I'd often put in there, but the matte turquoise is breaking to yellow even in some places. So that's very pretty too. It's got some, looks like pinholing a little bit, but it's totally smooth. So I'm just gonna call that part of the stella. It's in the black, so it kind of looks a bit like constellations. You want to see close up? There you go. Okay, it's about half an hour later, and these are much cooler now. So here is another one of the different color coded, but the black likes to do that little bit of mottling over the top of the variegated blue by the look of it. But it's kind of interesting. It's a nice textural look. Oh, and I have the bright blue in the middle there. That is really hard to glaze that. A different color to the outside, because you have to flip it over and fill it up, flip it over and pour it out fast without it dribbling. So it's variegated blue, black, and bright blue, and a little bit of oatmeal over the black. Oh, tiny glasses that I made into cups. Some of them are my regular shape. There's another little green one. Matte turquoise with variegated blue and oatmeal over it. There's a chun green variegated blue. I like that combination. I have a landscape look as well, nighttime with the landscape. Matte turquoise, variegated blue and oatmeal again. And then a couple of purple ones with variegated blue and oatmeal. And then I have a few of these bowls. They're basically the bright blue with different colors. On the underside, that's bright blue. This one's the variegated blue over the matte turquoise, but bright blue centers. And this one is the same. I did sets of 4 of these. Okay, deeper down. Go deep diving now. This one's still a little bit warm, but it is interesting. The colors in there. And this is all pouring glaze. I actually use slip trailers to squeeze the glaze over the piece rather than pouring, because it's hard to pour accurately when you've got a bowl in the middle of the piece. But that was really nice. Apple green, chun green, variegated blue, maybe mouse gray in there, and then the matte black. But a really nice piece. I love that one best so far. More of the little cafe au lait bowls. These are part of a dinner set that I'm doing. It's an 8-place setting dinner set in these colors. And there's a couple more of the little tiny bowls. Those are not part of the dinner set, but I might show them as part of it. The guy can choose whether to take a different bowl as well. And then we've got some of the regular purple with variegated blue and oatmeal over the top. And one more of those. So there's 4 of these should be eventually. Lots of chattering on the underside. You can see the purple shows chattering up really good. Okay, the very last level down deep was a refire. So this piece had some crawling on it, and it's totally gone now. I pasted some of the blue glaze over the edge to get rid of the crawling, and that really turned out pretty. matte turquoise, bright blue, and dark blue. And here's another pretty bowl in the matchup with the chip and dips. I like the way these are turning out. Two more of the bowls for the dinner set. And another purple one. Maybe I have to sand that a little bit off there. Oh, it came off anyway. Fingernail. A lot of time, a little bit of backwash will stick to something, which is easy to get off. Hey, good morning. It's the 3 days later after that last unpacking of this glaze kiln. Now I've got another one to unload, and now I'm back on making work to do another bisque firing. This is a little hot. It's about 90, 92 degrees centigrade on the top. The bottom is only about 50 degrees centigrade. So I'm going to open it, and things will cool over the next hour and a half, and then I'll unpack it. But let's have a peek. Yeah, I wouldn't want to touch too much, but it looks like we've got some good blues. The green looks good. This was still an uneven firing. I'm trying to balance the kiln after replacing the baffle brick. So this time I'm going to bring the baffle brick forward about maybe 3/4 of an inch because it's still cool at the bottom. But there was only 16 centigrade difference at the bottom to the top. So I think it's getting there. It's just that I need to bring that baffle brick forward. I've got some construction people working on the foundation of this building, so it might be a little noisy, but I'll turn it off as soon as I hear any noise. But it's about an hour later. That one I can put my hand on now. Nice big green. So this is a bird bath for somebody. So it had to be a little deeper than a platter, but I think that's quite pretty. And that's going to, I think it's going to Ohio. Yeah, I can hold it, so it should be okay. You always worry about things cracking when you fetch them out and they're still a little hot, but I can touch this, so I know it's not that warm. But we have a whole bunch of mugs, which you've seen plenty of these, but this is that dinner set. We wanted that shaped mug. So we have a lot of these coming out of this firing. I had an order for a pitcher too, which came out in the last kiln firing. We just heard that we're getting that hurricane coming up the coast. So Ernesto might be coming to visit. So that's why they're working on the building, because it's sinking into the sand on one corner. So I'm hoping I can strengthen it up a little bit. These are the bowls for the dinner set. As an oxidation firing, this was great. The blue is really pretty. I have construction up on the hill, which is the hammering you can hear. There's stuff down here too. I'm going to have lots of deductions this year. And another one of the bowls. These turned out like a nice set, I think. There should be 8 of them in the end. And there's the blue, green, copper, red for a cafe au lait bowl. And we don't have the mugs out yet, but here's the little heads. Now we get to see Jackie's little sculpture. We've got some very expressive cats there. The green is the chun green, so I think that that was a great glaze to use for all the carving and the texture. And the chun green sort of goes with all the other glazes nicely as well. We have about 20 of these, I think, but only about half of them are in this firing. And here's your first of the dogs. So a dog and a cat. Hey, and thanks Heather for visiting from Franklin, North Carolina, from Cowie Pottery. It was nice to meet you too. I hope you really enjoyed your visit to Nova Scotia. One more dog head here. Here. Maybe I should be turning that off. One of Jackie's whales. Here's a very pretty little tray. And there's a tiny, tiny little... Amazing. We charge $6 for these. And it's just something to put a ring on, basically. But as soon as we put them out, they sell. It's just, $6 seems to be the magic number there. In US dollars, that would be like 4 or 5. A smaller whale. Jackie's getting better at glazing these because she tends to glaze them a little bit thin, so the blue comes out greenish, but she got a bit more blue on this one. A bunch more trays. This is the top set of cones, so cone 7 went completely. It's still good doing cone 7 at the top. And in order to get my temperature at the bottom, I've been having to keep the kiln firing even though I know the top's getting hot. Because the bottom, cone 6 is now over, and so that's almost a full cone 6 and cone 7 is bending. That's why I think there wasn't much difference this time, but still the top is way hotter than the bottom, the way I've got it going. So I'm going to bring the baffle brake a little forward so there's more heat going to the top and down the front of the kiln. Another little fish, another little cat, 2 more little fish. And this one turned out really good. This is one of Jackie's whales too. So that's the best one so far, I think. 2 more little trays, very sweet. And there's a whale. There should be about 12 whales in this kiln too. And there's another whale. We keep running out of whales, so I've been making them often this summer. Another blue whale. And a humpback. Another humpback. These would look good together. Oh, this one's nice. There you go. Little cute one. The top fish looks a little bit kind of like, I'm surprised at that. Little blue whale. Ooh. And another humpback. I just keep making these because they just keep swimming off the wall. So that one's very blue. Stilt collapse. Too bad. I hope I got extras of these mugs. I can grind off that and refire it. And I can probably grind off that and refire that. But that's a stilt collapse. When the stilt collapses like that, the piece just falls over. Yeah, that stilt is, I can push it up by hand, so that means that's a very weak piece of wire. That seems to be it. And then I usually make extras of these anyway. 2 more. We will want 8 altogether. See, I got 7. Maybe that was needed. But we got some really bright, nice bright blue with variegated blue and oatmeal colors here. And these are some nice little blue-green copper reds that come out turquoise when you do oxidation. That one has a little grinding at that corner under the handle there. And this one's perfect. The green's really nice in this firing. Variegated blue and oatmeal over the matte green and another blue-green copper red. This is also in that video I did on tiny glasses, but I turned most of them into mugs. But that's that one I did with a flicking of the wrist while it's on the wheel. Should be checking these for lids. This is one of the mugs with lids. And this is one for the dogs. This one's gone to the dogs. Now these lids will fit on other things too, so I'm not sure what mug they will end up on. But there you got a nice cat looking at you when you're drinking. Well, no, you have to kind of lift it off, don't you, to drink. And there's the one. I think Jackie will be happy with these. I have some grinding to do on that one once again. Tenmoku Gold, you see, doesn't like to go quite as hot because it runs. But then this, remember, was pretty much cone 7 up high. But I'll have to grind that off at the bottom. And now the bottom layer, which is actually getting kind of cold. So this is, I keep getting interrupted. That one's an interesting one because that's actually my folk art white with, what is the middle one? I'm not even sure. But I think it's folk art white and then apple green probably, and then the variegated blue on the bottom, which didn't go very blue at all. It's more of a dull gray, and then chun green and apple green and variegated blue. This one's a duplicate, and that's matte turquoise with the variegated blue and oatmeal. Once again, Tenmoku Gold needs to ground under the handle, but that's a really nice picture. And then the same again for that one. Yeah, the Tenmoku Gold has run again, so more grinding. I'm probably going to have to use a hammer to get this one off. So I'll have to grind that one for sure. And then the bright blue. And this is duller because it's over speckled clay. That's how I fired the... Oh, this crawled a lot. I wonder why that was. I'll have to refire that one. So I've got about 7 refires in here now. It's a lot of pieces in here. The handle again running down. Chun green and variegated blue. On this one, an apple green too. The colors are really good in this one though. And a little bit of grinding. Every Tenmoku Gold piece, even though they're absolutely spectacular with the gold, need to be ground. All of the tiny little mugs that, you know, were a glass then turned out to be a mug. But the blue is spectacular in this firing. No pinholes, nor the matte turquoise is really good as well. So I'm looking for a Tenmoku Gold piece. This one, yep, there you go. A tankard with a lid, for those who like a lot of coffee. Yeah, these are quite pretty. It's actually the folk art white, which I add some yellow iron oxide to, and then the apple green and the variegated blue on the bottom. Another nice picture with the apple green and the variegated blue and oatmeal. Now, this is not the lid for this actually, but it kind of could have a lid. It's a little more loose than I would want. So there must be another green one somewhere around here. And here is the lid that does fit on this tankard. I just found the lid and the cup that fits for this guy. I think it fits. It fits pretty close. It's a bit tighter than I would want. but it comes out easily. That's the glaze thickness. When you add the glaze to the rim and then you add the glaze inside the rim, you end up having an increased fit for your piece. So it might end up going on a tankard if it fits a tankard. And one more tankard. Lots of nice blue pieces in this kiln. We're going to start and get some customers coming in with the blue, green, copper, red, yellow, apple green, and bright blue, chun green, variegated blue, and oatmeal. Blue, green, copper, red, bright blue, yellow, and apple green. Another blue, green, copper, red. It's nice to do some simple one color, single color pieces every so often. Now we have the plates for the dinner set, so I'm not going to show you all of them because they're all the same, similar anyway, but this is the coloring the guy wanted for the dinner set. So there's 3 sizes of plates going to be coming out of here. And a bulb that has a few pinholes in the bottom. But I'm just gonna refire glaze over these and refire them, I think. And another dog for one of those tankards. There you go, and this one is a chip and dip. Chip and dip again. And these no pinholes. And there's my spare, so I've got 8 of those. This one, technical gold, just gonna have to put this glaze on thinner and remember it. I always forget after a few times. It's like technical gold always runs where the handle is. It seems to be more fluxy than the rest of the glazes that I do. That's a nice mug. And this one, technical gold, it ran quite a bit of grinding on that one. This is just beautiful. Wow, that one is really pretty. I think that was a refire too. No, this was the refire. That's pretty interesting. Storm clouds on the horizon. It's my Cove series, but I don't usually have much on the rim, and this one has a lot of stuff on the rim. A little bud vase that was a refire, which has turned out absolutely beautiful this time. And this one crawled a little bit, so I will have to refire that one too. It's funny because I only single glaze them, but that's that glaze I've sold you at Ghostly Borate, and they've taken it off the market now anyway, but it does cause a lot of crawling. This is also a refire, which I think is really strange. Those runs down there. I wonder if this is even acceptable. I might try a 3rd refire on that one. Very strange. The last 2 pieces, a pitcher and a tankard. And so it's about, I would say there's about 7 to 10 pieces in here that need to be refired. So that's a lot more than I normally get in a firing that have to be redone. So I'm not unhappy, but happy with most of the pieces anyway. The dinner set looks like I got a lot of really great, I got a few refires in that, but basically most of it is good. The foundation's been fixed in the building, so we're a little bit more secure, I guess. And there's a hurricane coming on Tuesday or Wednesday next week, unless it changes again, because we're still 5-6 days out. So it could go that away.